Hey guys, it's DukeConrad1 and welcome to yet another Minecraft video. Today we're going to be showcasing another Grand Architect plot on the Raven.org server. If you would like to come here, just go ahead and do /warp_Leo and that'll bring you right to where I'm at right now and you can check it out for yourself. Again, it's /warp_Leo, L-I-O. And again, on the Raven.org server, if you want easy access to the server and it's your first time, go ahead and download the Raven.org launcher. And that is in the description below. Go ahead and check that out. Download, install that, and click join. And you can come on over and enjoy this for yourself. Now, we are looking through Li0nite's Grand Architect plot. And there we go. Li0nite, as you can see right there, Li0nite is Grand Architect. I think it's a very well-deserved rank. He did a very, very good job on it, and really excited to show you guys through this because there's a lot to see and it's super awesome. So let's go ahead and get started. Excuse me. So as we begin, the first thing that we come to is a drawbridge, a little gate drawbridge thing. Now it's kind of useless where it is. It doesn't really make sense why it's here, but it's there nonetheless, and so we're just going to say, cool, that's awesome. There's really no reason for boats to come up this stream here, and so I don't really understand why there's a drawbridge there. And as for protection is concerned, it doesn't really protect much. You can easily cross the creek anywhere and get across with wagons or whatever that you need to do, and or say if there's an attack going on. But whatever, it's here, and so I'm not going to really diss it too much more than that. But it's a pretty cool little thing, a little tiny gate there. I guess it's kind of like how on Skyrim there's that one village. I forget what the village is called, but it has like a little useless wall with a little archway kind of gate thing, and it's kind of useless, so yeah, whatever. Now, a big thing that I want to say about this plot is that there is no roads leading off the plot. Now, the reason why I'm saying something about that is because I like to imagine that there is more outside the plot, like there's more landmass and maybe there's more of a village or a town outside of what is constricted inside this plot space. Now, it is indicated that there is more, considering that there is this body of water and there's larger ships on it. So that tells me that this is maybe a large lake that heads out to the ocean. Maybe it's like a sort of like that Norwegian kind of waterway. I'm not sure if you guys watch Vikings, but you can imagine giant mountains on each side, and maybe this is built in a valley. And like what's that city in Vikings called? The one where Ragnar Lothbrok is king of, that valley in the Norwegian waterway. And then that's where the Viking longboats come in and out of. But as you can see, it's a very Norse themed culture, kind of Skellige looking if you ask me, but in all it looks really nice. So let's go ahead and get started and not really, let's try to keep this going. So this is to Stigger's stavkirke. So stavkirke is a Norwegian style church, I'm pretty sure, like a temple. It's basically like if you look it up on Google Images, stavkirke, just go ahead and look that up. It's basically a multi-tiered roofed temple, and it's the style of temple that the Norwegians went with during the Middle Ages and Dark Ages and such like that. And let's go ahead and look at the outside really fast and see what there is to see. So yeah, this here is the outside. As you can see, it's a multi-tiered roof. It starts off with sort of like a building going this way, then it goes left and to right, and then same thing on the top. And it looks really nice. I really like it. Turned out really cool. Really neat little temple here. And then the priest would preach from right here, preach the faith to the underlings, to the village folk. And then you come up here and you can maintenance the bell and everything. Now, I would say the bell is kind of in an awkward place. Typically, a bell is meant to resound throughout the outside and to indicate that, hey, the maybe mass is amassing or masses coming together and such like that. And that's why there's typically bells. Now, the issue with this is that it's a little low, so it would be muffled and you wouldn't be able to hear it as well from the outside. Now, if it was up here farther, like maybe if it was like right where this iron bar is, it would make more sense there, because then it would be able to resound out these windows. However, it's a little more down, it's a little muffled. So that's just something just to think about for those of you that might build a stavkirke or a church later on. Always try to make sure that your bells are easily heard throughout the valley or the land and not muffled within the building. So here's a little chamber pot and maybe the latest news there to the side. Maybe that's the holy book that they refer to in their religion, who knows. And we're gonna make our way this way. This here is a blacksmith up here. This is the Wolfhorn's Weapons and Tools. Okay, so this is a weapon and toolsmith. And we're gonna go inside really quick and see the interior. Looks really nice, I like it quite a bit. You got a bed up on top, maybe there's 2 people that live here. And then this doesn't really make sense to me, how the dirt's kind of like caved in the corner there. Not quite sure what's going on there, but it is what it is. It's a very, it's a very open house. There's not really too much in here. Just a few little things here and there, some weapons there to the side, a few scrolls, maybe some manuscripts. Very nice interior, I like that quite a bit. We're gonna go over here to the side, Wolfhorn's Weapons and Tools, and then here we go, we got helmets and stuff like that. A natural looking furnace, not a kiln, I don't know. It's a fireplace to cook the iron and basically melt it to a point where they can bend it and utilize it for making into tools and helmets and whatever that needs to be made by this blacksmith here. Nice little serene chair here, you can sit here. So basically, if you don't have any work, the blacksmith would come down here and sit and anxiously look down at the main path as people are traveling by and go, "Hey, come on up, we got a sale today. Come buy something. Give me a job, give me something to do." But yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. I love the nature around this plot. It's very well done, I think. You got lots of little trees. It looks pretty natural, I think. I like it quite a bit. Little wooden bridges and everything. It's a little, not nature, but still it's pretty cool. I like it a lot. The river, or the creeks and everything. The waterways look really neat. Overall, I really like this plot. It's really interesting. And it's very interesting and fun to look through. Again, if you guys want to see it, /warp Leo on the Riverwood server. So this is something that kind of bothers me. As you can see, it's a rather large cart, and it's a merchant's cart. As you can tell by the interior, it looks like it has some things that, like a bed. It looks like a traveling cart. However, how did it get here? There is no paths off the plot. Now, if there was a path this size all the way off the plot, it would make sense. Now, also, this wouldn't be able to make it through here. Another thing, like if this hill was taken away, it would be able to. That's something I really want to point out to you guys as we're looking through this plot. Try to make your roads big enough for all of the traffic that has to go through it, and make sure that the roads go places, that it's not just this, like, if you're building a plot, and obviously Raven is known for its plots, make sure that the plot seems like it goes somewhere, like there's more to the plot than just what is on the plot. And that's what I really want to get at, is like this road should go like straight to this building here and off the plot, just to indicate that there's more over here than just this. And obviously, being a large cart, it needs to go places. So yeah, just want to keep that in mind. So we come into here, this looks like a net maker or a rope maker, I don't know, but it's pretty cool looking. Got a nice little place to live in here, little thatch bed there in the corner, fireplace here on the side. Hopefully their bed doesn't catch fire. That would be not good at all. I would add more detail to the fireplace, but yeah, that's pretty good. I like it. Not too bad. And a little workshop in here for nets and such. I'm pretty sure that's for nets. And we're gonna go up this way and see what there is to see. And I'm guessing this is a candle maker. All right, so how a candle maker works is you would dip a rope, or basically the centerpiece, like the wick. I'm not sure if you guys know what I'm talking about. It's that little black part you see there in the middle of a candle. You would dip that into a barrel or basically some melted wax, and you would continue to dip it. It would dry, you dip it again, it would dry, you dip it again, and basically you would dip it and dip it and dip it until it is the desired size. And then you would basically carve off the sides and the bottom to make it the round, the cylindrical, flat, smooth shape that you want for the to be used. And so that's how they would do it. And now, not all candles were made out of beeswax. Some were made out of pig's fat, and that's how they would make it as well. So I wonder if there's any pigsties around here, but that doesn't really matter. That's just different ways that you can make candles is beeswax and the other thing. Whoops, I'm in some grass. So this here is a rope maker. As you can tell, you have the wheel here on the end, and then you have some rope here on the end. What would happen is, as you can tell, a rope looks like it's twisted, all right? And basically, rope is made out of a lot of little individual strands. I think it's made out of hemp. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure rope is, or some ropes at least, are made out of hemp, which is, I think, a tall grass. And then they would put it together, they would twist that, and then they would make all these little strands. They would hook it to one end, and it would basically, depending on the thickness of the rope that they want. Now, typically, rope would be much longer. Like, these contraptions would be much, much longer than this. Like, it would go from here to maybe over here. But, size constrictions, plots, you got to make it size so that you don't go off the plot and everything. And you want to try to add in as much detail as possible. But anyway, and then they would twist it together, all those ropes, and then tie it on the ends and everything, and make it into a larger rope. So you tie a bunch of strings together and make it into a rope. So what is this in here? I'm not sure if it's a workshop or anything. It looks like maybe this is actually part of the rope maker. So yeah, I'm guessing that is a net maker down there, and this is a rope maker in this area. Considering this little side yard here, and you got a bunch of rope spools on the side. That's very cool. Got a watchtower up there, very nice. And let's head down this way. Looks like just a little shed. I'm not sure if there's any like workshop in here or anything. Just looks like a normal house, little place to live. Got some braziers on the side, and we're gonna head over this way. Just looks like a dark house in there. And this is something that I particularly want to showcase to you guys, is whale hunting. Now, this is something very interesting. This is a very Norse culture kind of thing, or even like Alaskan, Canadian, whale hunting, or even like Japan, a very kind of northern thing. I'm not sure if much of this goes on in the south. I'm not sure if you see this in Africa or Australia or stuff like that. But typically when I think of whale hunting, I think of like Norse culture, Japan, Alaska, and stuff like that. But whales, they have a lot of meat in them. So this one whale could feed this entire settlement for, I don't know, months on end. But they would basically hunt the whales at sea. The whales would be feeding and whatever, just floating around on the surface of the sea. They would harpoon the whale, drag it ashore, and it would probably be dead already by the time they got to shore. But then they would resource it. They would dig into its guts. They would use its blubber for fire, for perfumes, for all kinds of different things. I'm not quite sure of what all the purposes for whale blubber and all the different resources you could use in a whale carcass, but there is a lot of stuff. There's like a lot of stuff that humans can use to live and basically to survive on. Now, I've never eaten whale before. If any of you have eaten whale, what does it taste like? Does it taste like fish, like some kind of like caviar, calamari? Who knows? What does it taste like? Let me know in the comments below. I'm very interested to know what whale tastes like. If you guys are vegetarians, I apologize. So we're gonna move on. So this here is where they dry fish. Fish is a very, very, in the Norse culture, is a very important resource because there's really not much you can grow in the Norwegian kind of areas in the colder climates. And so they depended a lot on fish and meat. And fish was a big thing because they obviously had a lot of water and they had lots of boats. They were known for being a seafaring race. And so fish was one of their primary resources. So we have a fisherman's shack here. And so what they would do is they put them up on these racks. the sun would dry them so that they would be able to keep longer. Like the wetter something is, the more chance it will most likely spoil and decompose. The drier it is, the more it'll keep and stay fresh and be able to be eaten later on. This here is like a butcher, it seems. Looks like they have small game in here, some sausages and things, stuff like that. Very cool, I like that a lot. Got some nets in here, and if we go in there, it'll take us up to a lighthouse. As you can see up here, a little lighthouse where so ships don't come crashing into the beach, so they know where this place is, and so that they know where to come. That's basically the purpose of a lighthouse, is during the times of fog or bad weather, ships can always tell where their base of operations is where the docks are. So got some more carts in here and certain things like that. I'm trying not to look around too quickly. I'm trying to keep conscious of that and not disorient you guys. So before we go further, let's go ahead and check this out in here. I'm actually going to change shaders really quick to Cuda. Cuda is very nice. I like Cuda. It's very atmospheric, and I think we're going to do this for the rest of the video. But one of the big things about this plot is look at the underwater. Look how detailed that is. Li0nite really went the extra mile and tried his best to detail the underwater. There are some things that are kind of odd, like this massive anchor here. A ship that would be able to carry an anchor like that would not be able to come this close to shore. It would basically sink before it got here. So that's just one little critique I have for there. I'm not sure if there's any little details over here. No, it doesn't look like it. But you got a little anchor there. Actually, a massive anchor. Got a walrus here. A little funny thing there. I think is a really cool idea. Making an animal like that. A couple crates. And then if we go over here, it looks like a building has collapsed into the water. Maybe as a small ship. I don't know. And then you have a little canoe over here, sunken in the water. I love that. Then we have here a Viking longship. Now, Viking longships, actually just longboats, were a very multi-purpose style of boat. You could do so much with this. It was made for speed. It was made to be able to traverse shallow waters. It could even be carried over land with certain amount of effort. If you guys have watched the Viking series, there is so much on that series. It's so like interesting and cool to watch. So I would suggest you guys watch Vikings and see all the things that are done, because Vikings basically depended on these long ships. They were basically the perfect avenue for their raiding culture, and that's what they use them for, is typically for raiding and everything. Now this over here is a logging mill. Now the issue with this is there is no current to move this water wheel, plus it's not even touching the water. This water wheel makes no sense to me. I don't understand why it's here. Water wheels should only be along streams, or I'm not sure if you guys have watched a previous logging mill video that I had made, but it sort of showcases how a logging mill was powered, or how it was kinetic energy was produced for the saw in order to make it to work to saw through the wood, because water power is very strong, and it has enough power in order to make the saw work. So this whole thing here doesn't really make sense, but the sawmill itself is pretty cool. I like it quite a bit. The issue with it, though, is that it's just it just doesn't make sense. Like, you'd have to lift the log all the way up here, and then it would just kind of crash down over on this side when it's cut apart. It just seems like a lot of effort for what it is. So I think that this could be better. This could be designed differently, but it is what it is. I think it could have been placed separately. Like, it should have been over, say, right here. Like, I feel like if he really wanted a log mill, it should have been placed like up here, and then this should have been like down more, and then the water should have like flowed like over the wheel and stuff like that. I think that would have been much better, but it is what it is. And it looks like we have a little watch area up here, or a beacon fire. Yeah, it's a beacon fire. Okay, that makes sense. And how do we get up here? Not sure. It looks like it's whatever was up here is burnt. I think you can tell by the black wood. So I guess you'd have to climb up the side of the cliff here in order to get up. So here we have a shipyard. This is where they would build their longboats, and I think it's portrayed pretty well. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is how they would bend the wood, because as you can see, a boat is typically round. Now, how do you get that wood to bend? So what they would do, and it's not really portrayed here very well, but what they would do is they would make some sort of contraption to put all this inside. And sometimes they would just dig a pit in the earth. First, they would put a whole bunch of wood in there, and they would burn that into charcoal. Or actually, no, they would burn the charcoal up above the earth. All right, so they would make it really hot charcoals, and so then they would put all that charcoal in the ground. Or not the charcoal, rocks. They would make these rocks. Somehow they would heat these rocks up a lot, like really hot rocks. And then they would get those rocks, put it into the pit, and then on top of those rocks, put wet straw. All right, and then on top of that wet straw, they would put the wood that they want to bend. And then once they get that wood in there, then they would cover all that with dirt or something to hold in all that steam. That steam would then moisten the wood and make it pliable in order so that it would be able to bend and be able to be bent into the shape that they need for whatever purpose that it needs to be done for. So like this boat here, you need it to be bent for that. So that's why you would have to bend the wood and stuff. So that's a pretty interesting thing. Maybe some of you didn't know that, but they would have to bend the wood, and it would be done by making the wood wet. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And just wanted to make sure you guys know that. So then we got maybe some tar being melted here in order to be to fill in the cracks and make the boat streamlined underneath and smooth. And so we got some more fish and nets going on over here. And then we got some more workstations and such over here. So this is where they would build a skeleton of the ship and prepare it. And then they would produce it into the ship over here. And then as you can see, they use the logs underneath to roll it into the water. And then that would be a finished longboat right there. So pretty cool. Okay, and then the next thing that I want to really point out to you guys is these sheds here. I love this design of sheds. These are like Skellige style. I'm not sure if you guys know what I'm talking about, but from Witcher 3, there is the island Norse themed culture of Skellige, and all the villages, or most of the villages, have sheds like this where they have the stone sides and then the wooden roofs, and typically built into the side of a hill or a cliff, etc. And then inside would be all kinds of storage and things. So I really like these. These are great representations of that, and I think Li0nite really did a good job with that. And yeah, very, very, very cool. So we're gonna keep moving on from there. See what else there is to see. We've got a house in here. It looks like this would be a house for maybe the workers for the boat. For the boats out here. Maybe this would be the shipwright master. He would be the one to tell them what needs to be done, how to do it, and all that good stuff. So pretty cool. This here is a stable. Obviously some carrots. Horses love carrots. And this horse seems to be a little lost. He's supposed to be in there, but it is what it is. Things get glitched. So pretty neat, pretty cool. So let's keep moving on this way. Let's see if we can find anything more interesting. Got a globe here. Now, I'm not sure. That's very medieval-like, because they didn't even know the world was round in the medieval times, I don't think. When did they learn that the world was round? I'm not sure. I think that was Columbus when they decided on that. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments below. When did they decide that the world was round and not flat? All right, so Haven Master Hawthorne. What is he the master of? Haven Master Hawthorne. Okay, maybe it's just a guy. Maybe it's like a maester, like a smart guy. Okay, so he knows that the world is round. Okay, that's good. Got some gold here, a little scale indicating that maybe he collects coin. Okay, so maybe this is the tax collector. That's what it seems like to me. He has a little dugout back here where he would live. Looks like it's just made out of dirt and everything. Couple wooden support structure, wooden support structure to hold up the ceiling. Seems like to be a very unsafe place to sleep, and seems like the water would soak through. This seems like an odd place. What? That's odd. Okay, so we'll keep moving on. I think this is pretty interesting. Good job with that, Leo. And we're going to head this way. We're going to go to the tavern. Little workshop in here. Oh, this is a bakery. This is the baker's oven right here. Now, it makes sense to have the baker's oven outside of the building. Same thing with a kiln, a smelter, like even for a blacksmith. It makes more sense to have the fire on the outside, because these fires would have to be particularly hot in order to produce the resources that they are expected to produce. So that, how hot that fire is, and like it needs to be smoking hot, that causes a danger if it's inside a building, especially with thatch roofs and stuff. Now, I usually build my baker's ovens and stuff inside the buildings too, because it can be both ways. It just depends on how it's built. But it makes more sense, and it's more realistic to have that oven on the outside versus the inside, because of the danger it imposes on the structure itself. So keep that in mind as you are building your thingamajigger. And we want to go to the tavern. There's the tavern right here. All right, so this is the village tavern, the Bothered Bear. And this is where they would eat, drink, and be merry and do their things of, this is where basically people would come together, learn the news of the day. Maybe merchants would come in here to rest as they are on their long journeys, and they would tell their stories, and people would learn about the world in here. That's basically the purpose of a tavern, is for communal talk, and where everyone would meet at the end of the day, at the end of the work day, and do whatever needs to be done there. So yeah, and this place would probably flood pretty easily, considering that the water is right up on all the buildings. So yeah, there is that. So we're going to keep moving on and see. We're going to actually head up to the castle now. As you can see up there, not the castle, the fort where the Baron would live. And the Baron would basically, or the Lord Knight, who knows. It's a very lowly fort, so it's not like a massive castle where a lord would live or anything. Just like a lowly Baron. And he would oversee the dealings of this village and make sure that it's all up to standards, and basically he would be the government. Him and his guards and such would guard and defend, take care of, and manage the welfare of this town below, and make sure that all is well. So we are walking right now up the causeway. It's very small, very thin. It reminds me of the Westeros Craft Causeway leading up to the moon. Gates of the Moon, not the Gates of the Moon, the Eyrie. Yes, the Eyrie. Now, it's obviously not near as far up and everything, but it's just this tiny little pathway, and it leads all the way up. I don't even know why I brought up the Eyrie. It's much more epic than this, but still, one way or the other. It's just whatever. So we're going to keep moving on from that. Very Norse looking. Oh, I love this view up here. We got a little altar up here worshiping whatever god or gods that it is intended for. And you can just imagine the view looking out from here. You can imagine a massive body of water, maybe large mountains on both sides. Considering, maybe we're thinking about Viking culture again. We're thinking about maybe this is Attica, I think. I think it's Attica. Where Ragnar Lothbrok is king. Is it Attica? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. What was the name of that town, or that it's kind of town city thing that Ragnar was king of? If you guys know that show Vikings, you can imagine the scenery from that. Just imagine that from up here. It's a beautiful lot. So yeah, we're gonna keep moving on and see what else there is to see. So there is a watchtower up here. Now the thing about this watchtower is it's not very watchtowery. Watchtowers are typically meant to be able to see far. However, this one is covered in trees. You can hardly see anywhere out from it, and so it doesn't really make sense to be a watchtower. It's more like a little guard's getaway, it seems. It's hidden away from the castles, or like fort. I'm sorry, I keep calling it castle. I always like castle. Castle. Yukon is all about castles, but it's like a little getaway up here, where little barracks where some guards would be stationed during. Maybe if the fort is overpopulated, maybe this would be the overflow or something. And you come down here, and looks like this is the torture chamber. Okay, so that would not be a good place to be if you were on the not so good side of the Baron of this area of this town. If you are on the bad side, then you would probably be feeling quite a bit of pain. So yeah, you don't want to go down there. we're gonna keep moving down this way. It looks like a watchtower here. Okay, so this looks like it's the watchtower that it was talking about, because you can be up here and check out the view and make sure everything is going okay. If it's not, then you can start yelling and someone would pass it on, and yeah. So this here is one of the 2 gates in order to enter into the fort over here. And I think they look pretty good. I think they're well done. Thatch roof, not so good, but it works. I feel like thatch, even if it's wet, could burn. It's very easily set afire. And so that's one downside, but I'm not really sure what else could be done with that. Maybe a flat top. It seems like a very old style of building, so I would imagine that maybe it might have looked better just having like a flat top up there without any like thatch or anything burnable. That would have made more sense in my opinion, but still it looks nice. I think it adds character. The 2 little sort of A-frame roofs, I think, really work for that. And then you got this large bridge heading over the creek down below, which heads down into the bay down there, the harbor, whatever that's called. And they would hang the people from here as a warning for those that may be walking this area. They'll look this way. Do not mess with us, because we will hang you and you will die. But we got some stuff over here. Wanted, Tomb Raider, 2000 Kronor, dead or alive. Now, where is the king's tomb? I'm not quite sure where the king's tomb is, because this says this man's been hung for raiding the king's tomb. I have found this. This is like a little bandits camp, and then there's another bandits like camp down this little cave here, if you want to check that out. And then there's like another little cave here. It heads down to some little treasure down there. There's a few caves around that you guys can check out. Little deer there on the side of the creek, but I'm not going to go through all that. There's really no reason to. I have not found the king's tomb yet, though. I would like to see that at some point. So we come into here. It looks like this is the little like courtyard, the beginning area as you enter into the castle. You've got some blue wool here. It looks like that wasn't meant to be there, but it is, so boo hoo hoo. You can head up to there, and then this would be the opening mechanism for the gate, as you can see. That would open and close this. You got some murder holes and such like that. There should be a wooden door right here, I think, just to, sort of block, like maybe a wooden door here. No, the wooden door should be behind the portcullis, but I don't know, whatever. It's fine. All right, and then this here is a little elevator, not elevator, a lift in order to lift cargo from down here up to here, which leads into the fort, in order so that you don't have to carry it all the way up this little side causeway, around the side and up. Now, it would have been better if there was like a little thing coming out here, like a little portion of the fort, so that there was like a little bastion here. So as people, or maybe the enemies, are trying to charge up this hill up to the fort, they would be continuously attacked by whoever's on top of this bastion, and all there would be murder holes and such like that. But it's not the case. Maybe he just overlooked that, didn't really think about it. So got a dead tree there, and then we head into the fort here. Looks like a little quarry over here where they would collect rocks in order to build the castle, or build the castle. Gotta get that out of my head. Where they build the fort, and they maybe add on some things if they wanted to. I think that's pretty cool, and that's that. So we're gonna head inside now, and the first thing that we are greeted by is the feasting hall. This is a very important part of any fort, of any castle, of anything in the medieval era. Is eating was a huge priority. This is where they would eat, drink, and be merry. This would be the communal kind of thing going on. You have a roast pig across the table, and then the lord and the lady would sit up here, and they would host the dinner for special guests, maybe the local magistrates and different ranking members of the community here. And then you got some storage for some more tables here. Maybe they have guests from another faction of the Norse culture comes here, and so they need to set up more tables to make room for their soldiers and different people like that. So this lift goes down to the cellars down below and the kitchen. So we're gonna head down to the kitchen really fast and see what there is to see. So we come down to the kitchen. We've got some really neat things going on here. Got the fireplace, got our pig roasting there on the side, as if the one up there isn't enough already. And so we have a maybe some broth, some soup being cooked up there, and or maybe some stew, who knows. And we've got all kinds of different things going on around here where they would make food and eat and be merry. Some cheese. Again, here's that lift that heads up to the above area, and then we got a cold room where they would store meat and maybe some ice and such like that for the more extravagant meals. Typically, meat was only in this day and age. Meat was typically reserved for the more high-class meals or the more important like meetings and stuff like that. Here's the armory. And that's where they would store the weapons. Some extra mead, again, a very important part of the medieval culture is they would drink mead or beer because it would ferment the water and it would take the bacteria out of it so that they wouldn't get sick, because typically water was very filled with bacteria in those days, and so they would have to purify the water, but in this case they would ferment it, which isn't exactly purifying, but they didn't realize that just boiling water would take the bacteria out of it, so they just drank a bunch of mead and beer and stuff like that. So maybe that's something you guys don't know. But yeah, here's another armory, it seems. Very cool. And it's got some beds indicating that this is a barracks. Maybe this is a place for the magistrate or the captain of the guard, I imagine. Who knows? It just kind of looks like maybe that's where the captain of the guard would live. And then you come up this way, and this leads up to, I guess, the more royal quarters. You got a place for a couple, looks like kids would live in here, because it kind of like the beds are railed. And then you head over here. This is where, I guess, the lord or the baron and his mistress or his lady would live in here. And a bath. So this is where the royalty would live. Nice little window here. I love this design of window. It's a 3 thick wall. That's a very thick wall. That's another thing when you're building a castle. Try to make your walls thick. Thick is a... I don't even know what I was going to say there. But thick is a great thing. Don't take that the wrong way. So we're going to move on from that subject. So we're going to look down this way. Got little arrow slits where they can shoot down on the enemies as they are crossing the bridge, or maybe they're trying to attack and storm the keep or the fort. This is a fort. Now, I'm pretty sure there's another stairway over on this side, isn't there? I don't know, or maybe a ladder to get up, because we're kind of missing some area over here. Okay, I've never been up here. Alright, so let's just check out what's up here. Got some more living space and some areas in this area. You come up here, and looks like just like a little office area. Oh, there's more. Okay, so we come up this way. This is where the falconer or the maester would be in order to send messages to the different areas across the empire or whatever. And but yeah, in the Norse, like in the medieval era, they would typically use dovecotes. They would take pigeons from the different dovecotes around, and then they would send them back or something like that. I don't know. It's, the whole crow thing and the whole like rookery is a Westeros or a Game of Thrones thing. But still, I just think it's a cool idea having birds that take messages and bring news of the surrounding areas to wherever they need to be, or wherever they need to go. And the birds magically know where to go. So anyways, yes, this here is a very nice plot by Li0nite. I think we explored quite a bit of it. If you guys want to see this for yourself, go ahead and do /warpleo. That will send you right here, and you can check it out for yourself on the Raven.org server. Don't forget you can download the Raven.org launcher if you are not accustomed to the Conquest Pack and all the different mods needed to make it work. You can go ahead and download that in the description below, and go check it out, or come check it out, should I say. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you and your continued support. It's been a great journey, and hopefully it will continue to be a great journey for all of us as we make our way forward in the YouTube worlds. So yes, Don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Twitter, whatever you guys use. Stay connected with me, and that's a really good place to talk to me if you want to ask any questions or anything. I try to answer any questions you guys have. So again, thank you guys for watching. I will see you on the next one. Till then, bye-bye.